That wasn't a part of the dream. Really? I didn't care. Really? I really didn't. I didn't care. I mean, for years people wondered what really happened to Bernie Mac. His death seemed sudden, but his wife Rhonda saw the signs everyone missed. She watched him struggle with oxygen tanks between movie takes. She knew he was dying while he kept making people laugh. In 2025, 17 years later, she's finally telling the truth about those last days. The cold wind she felt before he died. The way his eyes opened one final time. The secrets are coming out now. Bernie Mac was born on October 5, 1957 on the south side of Chicago, one of the toughest places for a black kid to grow up in the 1960s. His father left early, and it was just Bernie and his mother trying to get by. They moved from place to place, struggling to stay warm during cold winters. His mother, Mary, worked hard just to keep the lights on. In a world full of danger and hardship, Bernie didn't cry. He made people laugh. It was how he survived, how he stayed strong. He learned early that comedy could be a weapon and a shield, and that laughter was often the only light in the darkness. At 16, that light nearly went out. Mary died after battling cancer. Then his older brother passed, and then his erunged father. 3 deaths, one after another, and Bernie was left without a real home. He went to live with extended family and even moved to a high school in Florida for a while. The pain of losing everyone pushed him into comedy in a different way. He started talking about death, pain, and dysfunction, the kind of subjects most comedians avoided. But Bernie didn't hold back. He told the truth, and people saw something powerful in that honesty. He wasn't trying to be clever. He was trying to survive. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Bernie juggled brutal jobs and short gigs that barely paid enough for gas. He worked as a janitor, a bread truck driver, a mover, and even drove a city bus. Some nights he slept in his car. He studied the greats Richard Pryor, the Three Stooges, Red Fox, and shaped his own voice in small clubs across Chicago. The Cotton Club became his home turf. It was messy, loud, full of amateurs, but it taught him timing, toughness, and how to own the stage. His wife Rhonda watched it all. She believed in him before the world did. Rhonda met Bernie when they were teenagers. She saw something in him that others missed. They married in 1977 when Bernie was just 19. While Bernie told jokes for $5 a night, Rhonda worked multiple jobs to keep them going. She never told him to give up. Instead, she pushed him to quit his warehouse job and chase his dream. When their daughter, Janice, was born, Bernie became more than just a hustling comic. He became a father who wanted to leave a legacy. Their bond lasted nearly 30 years. Bernie always said he wouldn't have made it without her. 32, Bernie finally got his break. He won the Miller Lite Comedy Search in 1990. After more than 10 years of grinding, that one win changed everything. Suddenly he was getting calls for real gigs and national shows. It wasn't overnight success. It was hard-earned recognition. That moment gave him hope again. It told him he wasn't crazy for believing he could make it. All the nights sleeping in his car and being ignored were finally paying off. He was no longer just another comic from Chicago. He was someone to watch. Then came 1992. HBO's Def Comedy Jam changed Bernie Mac's life forever. The crowd was wild, ready to boo anyone off the stage. Most comics would have panicked. Not Bernie. He walked out in a black t-shirt and said it loud. "I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers." The room erupted. He didn't just perform. He took control. He made the audience listen on his terms. Those 4 minutes turned him into a star. It wasn't just about the laughs. It was about power, presence, and guts. That clip became legendary. And suddenly doors started opening everywhere. His first movie role came the same year. It wasn't glamorous. He played a club doorman in Mo Money. The paycheck barely helped, but he kept going. He took small roles in Who's the Man and Friday, and Above the Rim he played Flip, a tragic and broken man who showed that Bernie could act with depth, not just with laughs. The parts were small, but each one was a step forward. He knew he was more than comic relief. He was building something that would last. In 1996, he joined the cast of Moesha as Uncle Bernie. It wasn't a lead role, but it gave him something he hadn't had before. Steady work and a chance to learn how television really worked. He paid attention. He learned about camera angles, script changes, and how to work with producers. It wasn't always easy, and he had to fight for screen time, but Bernie used every moment as training. Without Moesha, he might never have had the skills to run his own show. In the late 90s, for comedians with completely different styles crossed paths in a way that would change comedy forever. Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, and DL Hui weren't supposed to share a stage at first. In fact, Guy Torry was the original host. But by the second year DL Hui had joined and the real chemistry began. Their tour started in December 1997 and quickly became something much bigger than a show. Became a movement. Each man brought something unique. Steve Harvey could preach and improvise like no one else. Bernie Mac was raw and fearless. DL Hui had a sharp edge for truth. Cedric had unmatched charm and control of the crowd. Together they sold out arenas with over 20,000 people. Their jokes came from real life, real pain, and real experiences. They said what people were thinking, but louder, funnier, and with no filters. It felt honest. It felt powerful. And it wasn't just for Black audiences. People of every background showed up and laughed together.